Hey, hello, Carol.
Hi, how are you? Good to see
Good.
you.
You? Yeah, so good to see you. How are things going in your area?
It's not bad. We still have some snow and it's very cold here.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you located?
Maryland.
Maryland? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're cold here in North Carolina.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to log in my computer. 27. How you have been doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Busy. I see we got Shanice coming in. Shanice, you there?
I'm here, Sullivan.
Hi, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Excuse my camera being off. I'm having dinner at the same time.
Oh, you are? Okay. Uh, yeah, I know that's we got to multitask. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know how that is.
Mhm.
Me too. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Hi, Paula.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm going to be off camera because I'm on the move this evening. So apologies for that, but I'm here and I'm 100%
Glad to
listening.
have you join us.
Okay, great.
Just giving some time for folks to pop in, and we're going to get started in a little bit. We'll just start, by um, reintroducing ourselves and things that, I think there may be a few new folks that we've not had. I think we do have a few new ones. Tara, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Likewise.
Okay. Chris Zink, hello. It's cold. Who's got snow besides a couple of cars? And we were just talking about snow.
Yeah, in Houston, we've had Winter Storm Enzo that's just ran through and shut down the city for 2 days.
Yep.
Rare snow occurrence for the Gulf Coast.
Hmm. We had it here. The coast got it worse than we did. So it's weird. That's strange for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is my firstborn son's name is Enzo, so I'm like, this is a special week for him.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh goodness.
It's
Oh,
not weird over here.
oh yeah, but our coast then Myrtle Beach coming up into to North Carolina, they had by far more snow. They had about 4 inches of snow over that way, but we got about inch and a half. So hello, Selena. Selena, I see some folks coming in, and oh, I see a good friend right here. Hey, Ernestine.
I think everyone's phone is on mute.
I think everybody's muted. We were ready to rock and roll. Well, hey, girl, hi there. How are you? you just another minute, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, because I know everybody is, you got a lot to do, but I really appreciate you joining me, and others may pop in at any time.
Property tax time.
I know.
Spend half the afternoon paying property taxes.
Oh, goodness. Well, our taxes, I just finished paying. It was not fun.
I know. So you like having the properties, but then when the tax man comes around, it's like, good grief.
Taxes are never fun.
Oh, oh. No. And they just hit so hard. I mean, every time I turn around, they went up. My taxes here in North Carolina and Raleigh in our area went up about $1,000
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that.
in 1 year. I'm holding my breath for the next one, just
Yeah, I protest them every year.
yeah.
Some success, some not. I actually used a company this year, and they weren't able to get enough off, so they waived their contingency fee. So
Oh, okay. Wow. It's we got some things. Well, we're going to start, and I just want to welcome you to our first private lenders get together, and just take a moment and just reintroduce ourselves, and so that we'll know. And I would see a new friend of mine that's here in my area, a golf buddy to be exact. So I'm so glad to have her join us. So for anybody, I think everybody knows me, Selena Pierce. I think we've got listeners, but we're going to need to participate a little bit too. So, I'm Sevelyn. For those who may not know, I'm Sevelyn Smith. I'm a private lender, and I do consulting and helping others find money and teaching folks how to become lenders. And so we'll hear more about that later on, but I'd love for you to go around and just introduce yourself. Take a moment or two. Cara, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. Good evening, everybody. I'm Carol Cox, and I'm in Maryland. I start with the Gator Method on September, and on December I joined a group with JJ, and then it's where I met Severlin, and we had a meeting couple probably a month ago, and we have been in communication and see the option to work together. And one of the things that I'm looking into, it's a transactional lending and probably private money lending. So every time that I have the opportunity to learn, I'm jumping on the Zoom calls, and I'm so happy to meet more people, and I hope we can work together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's all I did. Being on team makes the dream work.
Yeah. When we are well, more people, we are more powerful, I think.
Yeah. Shanice, you there?
Yep, I'm here. I had to swallow my food. How y'all doing, everybody? Well, going back to where I met Sevelyn, I met her through another mutual friend from the Sub-2 community. We got acquainted and spoke a little bit. I always seem to miss or am busy with calls when she does have her Zoom, so I'm kind of happy I finally made it into this one. I myself have been a part of Sub 2 for 2 years. Um, I am into transactional lending right now with the Fundwise group with Ryan Schroep. So I'm into transactional lending. That's what I'm mainly focusing on, but also interested in meeting and learning more when it comes to private money lending. And just kind of wanting to build, your network. As we say, your network is your net worth. So I'm always open to learning from others that have more experience.
Okay, well, glad to have you here. Tara,
Thank you.
Tara, you want to give them just a little short spiel?
Yeah, I'm Tara Paget. I'm based here out of Houston, Texas. So I am a passive investor, so LP limited partner. And so I've done everything from buying single family rental properties and then transitioned to the commercial space in investing through private equity placements and syndications, private money lending of the sorts. And so I lead and organize an investment club called Power Pool Fund, where we take smaller amounts of capital and pool together, with other folks, and we invest in a lot of these bigger multi-million-dollar deals or in lending opportunities. Just any way we can actually take our Benjamin Franklins and put them to work. And so that's kind of our goal, is like, we work hard for our money, but now we want our money to working hard for us. And so that's what we do, in kind of targeting strictly passive investments, where we're not, just basically giving ourselves other jobs, but things that we can really put our money to work for us and grow our portfolios that way, whether it's through direct ownership or equity stakes in different real estate assets, or anything related to real estate, whether it's on the debt or equity side.
That was great, great. Yes, we had a good conversation not too long ago. Look forward to working with each of you. Paula, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And again, I'm a big advocate of having the camera on, so I feel really bad not doing that this evening. But I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And hello, everybody. I'm based out of the Raleigh, North Carolina area. Yes, we're getting used to the snow. We don't get it very often here. So my kid has not been to school since the start of the week. So yeah, it's been interesting. But yes, I joined Gator probably about 3 months ago, back in October, 3-4 months, and it's been a slow process. But initially, when I started, I was just really excited to get my first deal done. But I kind of had to take a step back. I kind of got caught up with a shiny object syndrome. And so I'm at that stage now where I'm kind of pulling back and just focusing on just a few things instead of getting all excited. Because what I realize is that every time you jump on a Zoom or every time you meet someone, you find something else, because there's so many different ways to make money in this area. So I'm just taking a step back now, absorbing all the training. Being a part of these smaller groups have been really helpful. So I've just been going into these calls and just trying to learn as much as I can. I kind of see myself heading towards a private money lending, but I do like what what's her name? Is it Tara? What she said about I'm more keen on kind of making a lot of passive investment. I definitely want to try and focus on that area, but definitely PML is something that I'm keen on going forward, and just how to raise private money, because I want to be able to use other people's money as opposed to, stripping mine. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'll be at Squad Up too. I heard it's a fantastic place to be, so I'm looking forward to meeting people in person. I'm a eye to eye, look you in the face kind of person, as opposed to doing a lot of things over the phone. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to meet and connect with all of you. I'll put my Blink card in the chat too. Thank you, Seblin, for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. And will I see you tomorrow for our meetup?
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Saturday for our meetup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ms. Ernestine Ledbetter, she is a good friend. We've been buddies for a long time, and she has joined us today. She's new.
Yes, thank you for your introduction. I did join. I have been given invitations before, but I have been busy doing other things, so I hadn't had an opportunity to meet. And I'm excited about meeting and seeing what opportunities are available. So thank you, Sevelin, for your invite.
Oh, absolutely glad to have you there. Chris, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are y'all?
Wonderful.
What part of North Carolina are you in?
Raleigh.
Okay, okay. I used to live out there by Fort Bragg, Spring
Oh,
Lake.
yep. Now down by Fayetteville. I'm very familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So
now I'm in Dallas. I'm in
now,
Dallas, Texas.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I joined the Gator community back in August. I still haven't done any deals, I'm still fairly new, still absorbing the training and just fully submerging myself into all the schooling because I'm new to real estate. So, I want to gain this knowledge before I jump into anything. And I'm really interested in this PML and transactional lending is what I'm really focused on. So yeah, I wanna understand like the underwriting process, and I'm excited. I'm excited to learn this whole new aspect.
okay, well, good, great. Glad you joined us, and we're going to have a wonderful time with this. Selena Pierce, are you there? Okay. Well, hopefully, she'll come in and we'll have some time to get back with her. So let me ask a question. What have you seen what are some of the things that you feel that have been challenging with the lending aspect, and particularly those who've been lending for a while? What are some of your challenges that you see?
Well, I'll start it off. Just I mean this in the best way possible, but a little desperation for those looking for funds. And so, as a business professional, and I expect who I'm wiring money to be a business professional to kind of have their act together and approach it as not as a please, 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 please lend to me, but more as this is the opportunity, and they're confident in their opportunity, and I'm confident in their opportunity, and I'm excited to lend to them. Versus, I really need this money, I'm going to lose this deal type of thing. That's just an immediate turn off for me. And then two, trying to go for the close too soon. I mean, a lot in private money lending is a know, like, and trust thing, whereas a bank has the whole institution behind them. And I'm sure when JP Morgan first started, he made a lot of mistakes, but over the 200 years they've been in business, they've developed a couple of systems here and there and they have an institution behind them to be able to tax returns and underwriting and a team of folks and 50 different eyes looking at it and whatnot. And so, but as a private money lender, we don't have that same backing or access or resources to be able to do all those things. I mean, they can ask for your firstborn child, and if you really need their money, you'll give it to them. So I think it's more becomes a relationship driven thing where they can take anyone off the street as long as you check all the check boxes, they'll loan to you. But as a private money lender, you can't just come off the street and I don't even have as many check boxes as they do, and me to wire you 50, 100K, whatever amount of money. So I think it is definitely a relationship building that takes time. And for those that don't have the relationships built, then you start with the people that already know, like, and trust you, your family and friends. And if they won't lend to you, well, then we've got some bigger things that we probably need to attack. So I think that having the relationship when you're on the private money side, because you don't have the institutional backing and all the resources to be able to check and verify all the information submitted, and then two, acting like it is a business, and it is or not necessarily just a business, but it is a professional thing when you're looking for someone's hard-earned money to put towards your deal, and being able to present that in a professional way that they have confidence in you because they don't know you like maybe your parents do. And so building that confidence in that it's not just about your deal, but that you're going to be a good steward of my capital.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Anyone else want to chime in on? I see Nanette came in. Nanette, how are you?
Hi, Sibyllin. Hi, everybody. I'm good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, just introduce yourself while you're on.
Oh, hi. My name is Nanette Henry. I am an investor and also a realtor. I am from Southern California, particular in Los Angeles, California. What else?
Not, are you doing lending as well?
Right now I am not, but I am actually a certified hard money broker, but I know that I cannot practice that here in California. It requires me to have a license, one of the state. Yeah, so currently working on my real estate license. That's what I'm doing right now.
So just in the near future, you'll be there. So, because what I'd like to do is I like to find and build relationships with hard money lenders as well as our private lenders, because sometimes when we look at a deal, it's not a deal really for private lender because of different challenges. But if it's good enough that we feel that it would work well, like getting a loan from a hard money lender, or doing, loans where they got portfolios all together, together in one under one loan, then it's great, So we work with both, but we do want our money working. So we
Mhm.
want to do as much as we can to do that. And we'll talk more than that. We can talk more too, because I mean, we've got hard money lenders that are also private money lenders.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
So it's not,
it's always good to have a network that do the same.
yeah. Um, did Selena get back? Okay. But Troy just came in. Hey, Troy.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad.
Oh, good, good. We're just doing a brief introduction of everyone that's coming in. So give us your 2 or 3 minutes of what's important as a private lender.
Well, I'll say I'm still kind of learning if you want. Say, I spent most of last year learning that aspect,
Mhm.
but there's so much to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say there's each deal's different, each lender's different, each borrower's different. You gotta learn to customize to this situation.
Right. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what I've been learning to do.
Yeah. Well, good. That's good. That's good. I also have with me my VA, Rose. Rose is my right and left hand most of the time. So I just want to give her a shout out. Thank you so much for what you do. And hopefully Selena will come in once she'll let us, when she's prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be having sessions over a period of time. It's almost like, well, I'm a teacher, so I always talk in terms of classes, or, in the syllabus, and having certain things we talk about over a period of time. So we're not going to do long periods. We want to get on some things that, even if you know it, it may be helpful, so you can help a brand new person that's coming into the investment world. And it's helpful on both sides of this, in that you have private money lenders who really, they think that's the cat's meow. We're ready to do it, except they don't have liquid money, they don't have savings, they don't have anything. So they're doing some things that's going to put them in much more difficult places. So tonight I'm starting with the topic, don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Because that is one of the things that tends to happen a lot. And I have run across that quite a bit in this last 7 years, where folks have had, they want to lend and they don't have anything. So they take out credit cards and or loans, and that they can get right now because the credit is real good, but then they don't, they put themselves in a pickle because of the interest rates and things that's happening. So I'm going to go through this little, and I'm going to stand up because I believe in standing up when I do my presentations. And I am going to, let me share my screen and we'll just sort of begin to talk about a little bit of this. And certainly can be questions, and anything that you would think about that you would like to ask, just, take questions down, or if there's some things that perhaps we need to add to this. But what I'm doing is we're going to talk about the issue that we have where we really at times don't have the funding that we need to actually start the business. And, I don't know how many folks have hit that before, but it's very easy to do. And so this may be more, I know I've got some seasoned folks, but, we just need to sort of talk about this to get some idea of how we can help others get on the right track. And so first, just a little bit about myself. I'm not reading all this, but I was a teacher and administrator, and I was a box checker. I did compliance at the university. And so I've stayed on boards, participated in Raleigh meetups, the sub 2 meetups, as well as Fortune Builders. I'm a Fortune Builders mastery student, Lee Arnold student. I went to a lot of school for real estate. Let's just put it that side under education. So I've did all the free things that I could with Pace and Jamil. I am not legally, officially a sub 2 person, but I work with sub 2. I have my team is all sub 2 participants. They are part of the sub 2 community. And I just felt that that's the place that I could work better and build and be on a team. Teamwork is really the biggest thing. And in my spare time, of course, I like family, I like reading, and of course, I like playing golf. And that's one of the things I'd love to get back, and maybe we all can get together. Those in North Carolina, here in Raleigh, maybe we can go to a golf course one day.
You'll have to teach me.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I do a disclaimer because this is just for information. And so the presentation is not offering legal, accounting, tax, accounting or tax or investment advice. And if you are seeking advice in one of those areas, please consult a competent financial advisor, attorney, or CPA. The presentation is for information and educational purpose only and should not be construed as a solicitation to submit a loan application to anyone. Okay, so here's the big question. Do you rob Peter to pay Paul? And let's just have a discussion. Have in the past, anytime, have you had that situation where, it was a little bit tight in funding of something, even if it's just personal finances? Have you had times that was one of the big issue for you? Okay, I'll confess, yeah. I mean, I think, when we are having, when we want to do some things, sometimes we step out and we, go into something too fast before we look at our finances well. So it has happened, particularly when I started taking the big educational programs. I don't know about anybody else, but Fortune Builders, Leon, those are expensive programs. Pace was not, at least when it started, was not as expensive. And I don't think he's hit the mark of where some of the cost is that we've had with the other two that I've been through. So that can lead you to have some financial difficulty because you're so eager to do it. So I've jumped in. I was ready. I wanted to jump in. So I did that. So But in the process, I knew I had to go back and look at financial readiness. And of course, I put a pin in it for a while. And of course, I was working the W-2, by the way. And one of the things I'm learning is a lot of folks are jumping off of their W-2 too soon. Okay, so that is a big issue. So we got to look at personal financial readiness, and we have to look at the business financial readiness after we know we can take care of home, family, do what we need to do. And then the inventory and just being an investor lender mutual vetting process and understanding that. And we'll talk a little more about that. Tara hit upon quite a number of the things in her introduction. Okay, so we rob Peter. We reallocate overdue bills. We passing expenses to extend the resources. So we're going from one thing to the other. And that happens when you move the money and the resources from one obligation to another. And this represents financial overdue bills get kicked back to waiting a little longer. And those things cause us a lot of pain. Essentially, it refers to the act of taking funds embarked on one purpose and redirecting them to cover overdue bills or do a quick fix. And that is something we, should not be doing. And so those are, as I said, this is just something I wanted to bring to our attention. And then Peter is passing just acronyms to make people think, if you will. Passing expenses to extend resources, transferring financial burdens from one area to another without eliminating them. So you keep everything going, that you still have the same problem, but you're just shifting the funds so the problem's on the opposite side. And those are the things, that folks don't always think about. I think with many of you, I've talked about the situation where we really don't teach financial literacy well enough. In fact, we don't do it in public schools, in the educational system. And I think that brings to bear some of the things we do and the issues we have with the economic health of the country. Being good stewards of our money is important. And please feel free to jump in and give me, give your ideas of things you would like, to include in this. This isn't Sevelin Smith's show. I am here just to bring these up and then have you talk about it and put your, input into these conversations. If the conversation, I don't have thin skin. So if the conversation does not apply to you, say, well, here's something, you can add in. You can tell me some of the things you would like to also bring up in the process. But these are things I was trying to come up with acronyms that could help people understand or keep it in their minds that they have to take care of their finances. So let me ask you, what do you think about acronyms and about this? I'm just going to go ahead and ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that saying about robbing Peter to pay Paul. It plays over my head over and over because my grandmother has said it, my mother has said it. It's just something that has been just pierced into my brain. But do we follow it, especially when you're younger and you feel like you can do anything? I've definitely been the victim of going around and doing all those coaching classes. I paid the $13,000, I paid the $15,000, and sometimes I'm probably not in the position to do it, but again, you just see that shiny object in front of you and you think you can do it all. But as I say, that saying is something that has stuck with me for a very long time. In some cases, it has served me well. In others, not so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think we all run to it because we really want to be on our own. We don't want to be working for the man or the woman, it depends on the business, of all our lives. And so, yes, we take these big leaps, and but we haven't totally prepared for it. It was just a big leap. Okay. Now, we understand the current financial position and feasibility of our real estate goals. That should have been real estate goals. You want financial stability, funds utilization, liquidity, and longevity. How often can we do it? How flush we in cash. Business formation ready. Research to find out what the business is about. Make sure that there's equity in what you're doing. You will make money because you have there's a track record, there's a history. How do you administrate with that? What's your administration process, and how much time does it take? Do you have the time? What is the direction? Does it fit where you feel you wanted to go, or whether your talents will allow you to go? And then the yield, what do we get out at the end? How much did you make? Did you work harder but didn't get as much? If your job is still paying you more than what you're doing to be independent, maybe you got to rethink and reassess. So research and reassessing, and then prioritizing, evaluating what happens, tracking the success. The KPIs are very important. Eliminate things. Be prepared for change. If something's not working, you go and assess it, and then you think about how you can change what you're doing to make it a better process. And then reinvest. Get money. So some people will get a nice wad of money and then they go spend it. It's not reinvested so that it grows. And that's one of the major issues we have. Someone just said the other day that they've done a good deal, and then they were getting ready to buy something expensive. And I asked, well, is that a necessity? No, it's just something. It will be cool. It's something, and I'm going. The cool is being able to go to your bank account and see it grow. Go into your investments and see it grow. That's what this was, to be about. So those are things. These are very short, to the point types of things. Any other ideas for you all from this? Okay, that was it. Those are all the slides. Okay, so let's sort of talk about, let's give a scenario. I've got some scenarios here. Okay. We got one. Sarah, a small private lender with limited personal finances, dreams about scaling her lending business. She's approached by Tom, an ambitious real estate investor who needs $200,000 to renovate and flip a promising property. Tom's pitch looks enticing. It's purchase price $150,000, renovation budget $50,000. The ARV is $300,000, and the proposed loan terms is 12% interest, 12 months with interest-only payments. Sarah's excited about the opportunity, but doesn't have $200,000. Instead of walking away, she decides to take out a personal loan to use her savings to fund Tom's deal. What's your thought about that? Talk to me.
Well, how much is the interest on the personal loan?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Personal loan. So if the personal loan in this instance, we're doing the hypothetical. Let's say the personal loan was probably about 10%.
Okay. In a scenario, and if she's making 12 on his deal, I'd probably say no deal.
It's
Yeah.
annual, but think about 12% annualized.
Yeah. So 10%, yeah, I assume we're speaking all in annualized when we talk about returns. So 10% annualized on a personal loan, 12% on the deal. I'd say no, because it probably wouldn't be worth the risk just for a 2% arbitrage.
There
No.
you go. That's it. But they, you know, those are the things. So she did it. And so she got in trouble. She takes out the $100,000. Oh, it was the credit. It was 9%. So she got one extra. And then she had liquidated her savings of 50,000 or from her retirement. And then she got the remaining from an emergency fund. So she just used up everything she had for this deal. So Tom's a good talker. He's smooth. He sold this deal. He sold it. And when he got into it, things started falling apart. If you recall, back a few years ago, several years ago, we had an issue with, with during COVID time in particular, with getting the supplies and getting the materials in. And I know here in this area, several folks told me they were having difficulty getting their work done, plus getting the permits, you know, just all sorts of things going on. And because of that, it was drawing out, you know, they were getting financially, it was causing stress. And these were folks that were advanced. It wasn't like, you know, a brand new person. And, you know, I would be in a real meeting and they were saying, man, I can't get wood, or I just paid double for wood and for, you know, these supplies. And then, you know, not to mention some of them get ripped off from the site. So, you know, you have all these things happening. And if you don't have a cushion, a way of mitigating that, or, you know, some funds that's set aside for nothing but to do your business. And whether it's a lender, we have to have our money where we can do business and not have to worry about, ooh, do I need this to pay for this bill? And this is what I hear a lot from some folks about how they've sort of thought about doing lending, or actually being the investor who needs the money. So the first thing is to go through and do a personal financial inventory. How many of you have done your inventory for 2025? You know exactly, you've got your budget, you've done all the things you need to do for your personal home. Anybody do a personal financial sheet at the beginning of the year? Just saw one hand. I can.
Yeah, I do. We do.
I tried to with a few tweaks throughout the year.
Pardon me? What did you say, hon?
I do one, but sometimes we have to go in and kind of make some changes here and there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's basically just getting it started. So doing a personal financial plan and looking at all your bills and things, and making sure that you can pay that before you go and start planning out the business portion. Until you can actually have it so separated, I mean, that there's no problems. But, you know, I'm really speaking because of the fact that I have seen so many and talked to so many folks that really got themselves in financial trouble because they did not have their own personal finances in good order. So this is why I'm talking about this, because if you're talking to someone who wants to borrow money, and I do this all the time, I have to ask them, I said, now I know I'm getting really personal in your business, but it's my money. So tell me, how are things with your personal finances? Because if you're not handling that, what's the chance you're handling a business side? Okay, what's the chance? Anybody want to take a guess? What's the chance, if you thought about it from the standpoint, what's the chance of you, let's put it, just say, if I'm looking at myself, what would be the chance if I'm having trouble, or I haven't taken the time to look at my finances before I jumped into something, what's the chance of the success? It's not, right?
And we're gonna.
Hello? Yeah. Did I hear someone chiming in?
I think there was just somebody unmuted their mic and they had background noise.
Ah, okay.
Well,
So,
I think you'll end up like me.
okay. Sean,
Hello, how's everyone? I work with Sevelin, and she got me on track. I'm using her financial Excel spreadsheet right now, but when I started back in 2018, I used my personal credit for my business, and that put me in a situation. So now I'm in business, but I'm playing catch up. So because I didn't check my finances, I didn't check my personal credit, I didn't do all those things that I needed to do. I just jumped right in. I started wholesaling, started buying, started flipping, but I definitely had some help to get me out of the situation I am now. Now that I have a team like Sevelin helping me and my other teammates as well. So I'm sorry I missed half of the meeting. I definitely was on a call and probably going to get on another one in a minute. But yeah, as far as the financial piece that she was going throughout this whole session, she told me about it earlier, but you just have to get your finances in order to start your business correctly. And I'm here to say basically it is something critical in your business to get that stuff in order first, because one, you can be like in sub 2 like I am, and you can basically buy into deals without using any money. However, later on down the line, you need to be credible. With banks, you got to come to banks and talk to them, and you have to show your finances and show what you're doing. Your credit score has to look 700 or above. It has to be pretty much perfect. They're going to look at your debt to income. They're going to look at all your things that you have doing along the way. So it's good to start off fixing that stuff right now before you move forward. But that's my little spiel on that.
absolutely.
Thank you, Sevelin.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It was one of those things where I say we have, this is our platform. We can testify to what hasn't worked, and then we're here to support one another in the process, to ask questions. And this isn't about, I want this to be interactive. Okay, I've talked a lot, and so that's why I keep asking questions, or if you have questions that you would like to ask, or situations you'd like to talk about, this is our area where we can do that in, in our own group as private lenders. And it's secure. It's not going to go off this out. I'm not going to be putting stuff out on Facebook with it. And so, yeah, that's one of the things to me. So we were talking in particular about Sarah. So Sarah, Tom didn't pay. And so Sarah ended up getting in, in a deep, difficult thing. She had tried to foreclose. So she got in because she thought this was a great deal. But then she had to foreclose on the property, which meant she had to get legal assistance. Guess what happened? There was more money out. Okay. She had devastating personal debt because what did she do? She took out funds, loans, and things to make this work. Didn't work. It couldn't work. Okay. So you've got to be sure that you don't wipe your own personal finances out trying to get into deals and things that you think will make you more money. You can't start that way. And you know, I just need to have disciples, because you're going to be talking to others who's going to have that mentality. Oh, I can just take this loan. I can take this. You know, let's help everybody out. Just make sure up front they understand that's not the way to do it. I am a major follower of the Dave Ramsey plan. And the reason is that Dave Ramsey's filthy rich. Okay, don't, you know, everybody thinks, you know, because he talks about getting out of debt and not taking, you know, cutting up your credit cards and, you know, all this stuff. But there's a reason, because different people, that resonates with people who really need it. Okay, who really needs to start that way. And so I started actually working, and I'm a coordinator for a class that's at my church. And I don't know, my goal, I believe, I feel called to be able to offer it for my fellow investors if they would like to just make sure they're out of debt. And so those are some things, but we just need to work on that.
I'd say Tom is a hell of a salesman if he got Sarah to do all that.
I know
Tom is a hell of a salesman if he got Sarah to do all that.
he did, yeah. But you know, people do. I mean, these are hypotheticals, but I've heard people say things like, you know, they got in and then they got ghosted. In fact, one of my first things when I was coming through the Lee Arnold program, there was a brokering piece that I was trying, because that's the certification they gave. And there was this company in Oregon, was truly legit, you know, all the bells and whistles, check, check. And then we got to the point where it was about time to close, and oops, it wasn't as check as we thought. So I called the Attorney General's office there, and come to find out this legitimate company had been hijacked by folks overseas, and they have not been able to fix it. So, I mean, you know, there are some really difficult situations when you're looking at something. Went to the site, you know, I did all that due diligence, made sure they existed, they had the company, and they were legit. And then come to find out they really wasn't. But you know, I did want to let the Attorney General know, and they knew about it. They knew about it, and yet they hadn't shut it down.
And one thing I would say too, to add on, is like, if you're looking to borrow from individuals and be the borrower in this situation, they're like, help to educate, especially if they're newer lenders, help to educate them on ways that they can have access to capital that they can lend on, that doesn't put them in these kinds of situations like Sarah. I mean, but you have to understand them yourself to be able to talk to people like that. One of the most popular ones are like self-directed IRAs, also like solo 401ks. I have a laundry list of different avenues where people can get access to capital to fund deals and to be lenders on deals without putting themselves in dire straits. And a second part of that also too is, for each individual is going to be different, but never put as much into a deal as you can't afford to lose. Nobody wants to lose $1. Nobody wants to lose any money. That's what Buffett's rule number 101: don't lose money. And then rule number 2 is rule number 1. But in anything we're doing in life, there's risks. There's risk with investing. There's risk with not investing. There's risk with, you know, waking up in the morning. There's risk with staying in bed all day. There's risk no matter what we do in life. But as long as that person is eyes wide open and comfortable with the risks that they're taking, and that it's not going to put them in dire straits if the legitimate company gets hijacked by whomever, or, you know, who would have thought the outlier of a COVID type of thing would have happened, or the wood situation that you mentioned earlier, whatever. I mean, there's a myriad of things that can happen that can make a deal, or take a deal off course. But I think if you're, you know, at least consulting and advising and eyes wide open as you're presenting your opportunity to a lender, and showing them different ways where it's not just checking and savings account money or things that they need to live day to day on, and showing them there are ways to access capital, and helping educate them and letting them do their own trust but verify and all that, and being patient with them. I think it will carry a long way, providing that I never really knew that. I'm sorry.
Bernine, let's see. She's
Yeah.
stuck in her chat.
I just think there's a lot of different ways you can help the borrower or the lender in that situation to understand what they're doing, what they're getting into, where they can access capital, how it will work. But at the end of the day, they have to be comfortable with if $20,000 is their limit of what they could afford to lose, then 20,000 is their limit. And so if you need more than 20,000, you're going to have to pool it and source it from other capital. And so at least that person, eyes wide open, is comfortable with their investment. They know what they're doing. And it's not like the worst is having that buyer's remorse where they're calling, oh my gosh, I need this money, da 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 da. And that's buyer's remorse, because with real estate, once it's gone and locked up, it's locked up until you exit. I mean, that's just is what it is. So just laying all that out there for them, so where they're going in eyes wide open with what the investment is.
So PACE has a YouTube presentation. They talks about if you're lending, you're going to lose money. He has and the 20 most important rules when lending money. And one of them is don't trust anyone, which is good. Don't lend what you can't afford to lose. I mean, these are very, common sense things, but a lot of times folks don't think about it. But he went through, if you go to the YouTube, it's a YouTube link that he has there that goes through and gives 20 rules about lending. And he said, if you're lending, you're gonna lose money. And that's the way he put it. I think just to put a shock factor to folks. But honestly, I think all of us have lost. I've lost money trying to do a wholesale deal. So
yeah, I need some more color around that statement, because I don't agree with just that statement pure. I need some more color in what the message he's trying to deliver with saying that when you lend, you lose money. But
that's why you need to go see it, because nobody can do it like PACE.
It says it's why most private money lenders lose money and how to avoid it. And it's basically saying if you lend out money, just look at that money as gone. Look at it like you just donated the money, because that's the money that you're willing to risk to lose, because you never know who you're lending your money to. So now he's also telling you the factors of protecting yourself by deed of trust, insurance on both sides, title insurance, property insurance, promissory note. But he also tells you to get a personal guarantee on that person, them and their wife or husband or their significant other, either one. Get it on both, because when you file personal guarantee on one person, then that other person can transfer all their information once they go bankrupt to their next of kin or their significant other. So, and also get 150% of recourse. So that means if they got a boat, car, another house, some type of collateral, you go after that. And that way you won't be in a situation where you have to sue, because basically he's saying if you have to sue, you did something wrong. You didn't follow the steps. Get a TC when you do your go through title, because the TC is going to do your work. However, do your research, do your due diligence on the company the title company that you're going through, because I know a lot of title companies out there, especially in Florida, that they have hijacked, and basically they'll have two different title companies and they think they're sending the money to the right one. I listened to Abraham Gray and Alexis Morgan. They're both in the private money lending industry as well. And with them, Abraham, he always calls the title company and they'll give him the number, the wiring instructions, and he always says it back incorrectly just so they can correct him, because he wants to know if that's the correct wiring instructions. So it's many different things. You can go on open corporate. You can see how long that title company has been in business. If it's been in business 6 months or less, don't send your money there. If it's a year, at that point, now you need to do some more due diligence. Send someone out there to go check the office to see if there is even an office there, because he sent someone out one time and there was no office. So you just have to, it's a real good YouTube video, but it's called Why Most Private Money Lenders Lose Money and How to Avoid It. But it's a good listen. I mean, it's for, I look at that as to take everything that you hear and use it to your best abilities. So, you know, you're going to do your research anyway. And also that's why me and Sebelin are here too as well. I deep dive on every deal that we do. I'm pretty much the underwriter, and we got 2 more underwriters. So when I'm doing a deal, I underwrite it, and then those 2 underwrite it as well to check me. And then I send it to another one of my buddies so they can underwrite it as well. So I'm always doing due diligence on the people, getting their credit report, getting their background checks. You don't know who you're dealing with. So you have to figure out what you're doing before you even get into a deal or any type of business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I was just wanting to give a scenario, but that's what we have to do. We have to really be really trying very hard to stay on top of each person, every person that is dealing with lending. For those who are new, let me open it up. Let me ask those of you who's just starting, what's some of the hiccups? What's some of the things that gives you a little bit of anxiousness, perhaps?
I was gonna wait for someone else to talk, but
Yeah.
anyone else? Because I have quite a few things.
Okay, that's okay. Come on, we got plenty of time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me, it's just been very interesting. I've been trying to align myself with the more experienced Gator, and you know, that whole thing, oh, we're go-givers, reach out to me, connect with me. In some instances, I've gotten a lot of good information, but again, it's always a case of what can you do for me now? And I think a lot of people feel very very like they feel like, okay, I'm going to work with this person, I need to do a deal with them or do something with them. I know it's not a, you know, you expecting something without giving anything in return, but I've kind of stepped back from that approach. It works in some cases, but I've kind of like, let me join the groups like these and kind of get more. And then instead of asking the traditional questions like, oh, how did you, you know, tell me about your journey, like I try to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. And surprisingly, there's a lot of ugly stories out there. Not because I want to hear the bad side, but I think it just really gives you a good perspective on the whole thing. And you know, some of the things that you mentioned earlier, the risk, it's really good to have that conversation as well, instead of hearing all about all the money that people have been making.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because it makes it sound that shiny object. I mean, you know, sometimes I'll hear, you know, oh, this person started just 6 months ago and they've done this number of deals. Well, that's not the norm in most instances. And so being able to understand what you can do and where you are in this process is important, because you're not in a race with someone else. This is our biggest thing, is knowing what we can do to make a difference and to actually help someone, but also to be able to generate income that's going to be in our investments as well. You know, when we do, and that to me is an extremely important part. We're giving, you know, a go-giver, but you know, the biblical, it says those that give, you know, you shall receive too. And so I have no problem receiving on the other end.
And Tara made a really good point earlier about just not being desperate. If you're a borrower, don't
Yeah.
go in there being desperate, because it does, you know, it does give off a really wrong impression too.
It does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. Who else wants time? I thought I saw
How
some.
long you been in Gator, Paula?
4 months, October. So yeah, I'm coming up to 4 months now. Yeah.
So I'm also in Gator as well.
Okay.
I've been in sub 2 since 2021.
Oh,
And-
okay. Okay.
And I pretty much been when Gators started, we was already doing stuff like that in sub 2, but Pace told us what he was going to do. But at the time I was into other things. So when I found out about it, I was kind of playing catch up. But it's pretty much the same things that he was teaching us in sub 2 as far as like what to do. But you know, I look at it like this. There's a lot of people in Gator that come in. It's a lot cheaper than sub 2 to get in and to be around that community as well. So I think a lot of people have gotten into sub 2, and I sit there and I look at some of the, you know, the accomplishments that a lot of them are having, and some of them will reach out to me, some of them will not, but I'll talk to them, and once I do talk to them, I'll find out what's really going on. And some of them are having a lot of good success, but you know, there's a few that are walking a thin line. And you have to be careful because they're not following the strategy that Pace has put out. And it's a lot of good information that he puts out. So, you know, it's just getting with the right people. Um, like I don't never say that I'm a go-giver. Um, and I don't say that I'm an OG as well either, even though I've been a part of the community for a while. But I look at it like this is, you know, one thing I just I don't trust people as far as I can throw them, or how my dad used to say, as far as he can spit, and he don't spit that far, right? But the thing about it is I let people move how they move, and I just watch them. And you just sometimes you just got to watch them too, and just adapt to what they're doing. Um, and then you can kind of figure out what you need to do. I had a couple Gators come to me that were newer and reached out, and I gave them all the information that I had. I didn't try to gatekeep. I didn't try to swindle people out of trying to get into a deal just so I can get some money. It was one scenario that I know, if you know this, that Pace does transactional funding, and he charges 0.75%, right? For double closing. And one of the newer Gators reached out to an older Gator, and the older Gator told them that he would charge him 2%, 2 points. And I was like, what? And I was like, man, just go through the vault and you will see that Pace is charging you 0.75. Use Pace instead of using that OG Gator that's charging you 7.75% instead of the 2%. You get what I'm saying? So it was just like you just got to watch out for some people. Some people are doing amazing things, but people will be people. So just make sure you protect yourself by, you know, getting all the paperwork, doing everything that you have to do, watching the vote, watching the Zooms, and you will have a better understanding by talking to the people who actually are there, like Alexis Morgan and Abraham Gray. You can reach out to them. You can reach out to them. They will answer their emails and talk to you. So just, you know, just utilizing those things like that. I'm not sure if I kind of harped on the situation, but you know, that was my input on as far as like the people in Gator and things like that. So
No, good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. And then we also have those who, like myself, took the free challenges. And sometimes one of the things I found that they will take the challenges and then they'll try to go out and work it on, you know, by themselves, and they don't know enough, or they begin to scam people. So it gives the community sometimes a bad rep, because what we're taught, Pace doesn't change the way he teaches, whether it's a freebie or whether you're in sub 2. And that's what attracted me to at least be able to work. I couldn't afford to take another educational course, but it certainly allows me to feel like I would like to work with students he has in his group. But I was particular, so it took a while. Sean and I talked early in the time I started with doing the freebies that Pace did. And, just over the year or so, a couple of years or so that we've, been talking, we came to the conclusion, hey, there may be a fit. We could work together because you want to find a team. How many of you have a team? Who's on the team? Troy, you're on the team, aren't you?
I was, and now I'm reforming a new one.
Okay. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
that's okay.
Any
Did the
particular
same thing.
reason? Any particular reason why, Troy? Do you want to share, or no? Just out of curiosity.
No, it's not something I'm gonna be
Okay.
sharing.
Oh, okay. I was just curious if there was like it wasn't a good fit or any little. Okay. All right. Cool. You and I need to catch up anyway.
So I can say I started out trying to be on a team, and then I realized you can't have a team of all new people. Everybody was new. As I started looking, wait a minute, I'm new to what I do in this. Everybody was new. And that you can't build a team. Has to have folks who understand it, has been through it, as well as newbies who's coming in to learn. I call it being an apprentice. So for example, if someone wants to be a lender and they've never lent before, I will be the first to say, okay, you work with another lender, let's connect. Who's doing something that has the funds that's in your wheel where you can do it, where if you only got $5,000, how can we put it to work? But you need to work with someone to learn. Apprenticeship was a very fine thing to have back in the day. And I still think it's something we should use. We should reach back and help others learn more about it as we go. Those who are more experienced come in and help teach those who are new. And we got a good number of new folks on here. So, don't hesitate. We got educational programs that we can do. I've taught several folks how to be lenders on a one-to-one basis. So we can do that. We can help you get on.
I'll say my philosophy has been reach up while you're learning and reach back while you're pulling and help somebody else up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I see Michael Cameron. I see folks just popped in. Michael, how are you?
How you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just checking in with y'all today. I have a couple of questions.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit. If someone I've got a couple of new folks. So tell them a little bit about yourself, and then go ahead, shoot a question.
Okay, how you doing, everyone? I am a builder in New Orleans. I build ground up construction. That's basically what I do. I build multi-family ground up constructions. My full-time job is I'm a truck driver, but I do this on the side. So me and Miss Smith, we talked before to a couple of times. So I saw the invite, just wanted to come in. And I got some questions,
Okay, go ahead.
One of them is my biggest question, because I'm normally the borrower. How do you find out what are the guidelines before we waste our time trying to work a deal out? That's my biggest thing, of how to find out ahead of time, what your tolerance is, what are your rules, what are your guidelines?
So And then others can jump in too. In fact, let me open it up and let others jump in, because I think I've told you, it's each individual private lender in particular has their own set of rules, their, if you will, their own lending box, like you have a buy box. But I'll let someone who would like to share who's lending. Sean, you want to give him your take on it? Paula?
Yeah, so I can speak for myself and say, like, when we talk, or if I meet you on a Zoom and we have a conversation, I want to definitely get to know who you are first. That's my biggest thing as far as my guidelines, because with private money, like Sevelin said, it's based off of everybody's different preferences. So you, like, someone else could charge points up front and someone else might not. Um, but the only best way to ask is, or best way to know, is to ask up front. And ask, like, hey, do you have any, specific guidelines, anything you don't want to take, any first time flippers? I guess that wouldn't be of a concern with you having, being in construction and from the ground up, you already did it. But just asking those different things. With us, if we don't have anyone, as far as anybody in the private sector, my thing is, I do have a lot of hard money lenders that will lend to me, and we also have it where sponsorships come into play too, to help out as far as making the deal fit. So it could be all sorts of things that can happen. I say the best thing to do with lenders is just to ask them, because with private money lenders, you don't know who you're dealing with and what they want. Borrower to know, like me as a borrower, when I know I'm most of my borrowers, I know personally. We have a relationship. We've went out before. We went out to lunch, dinner. I go drive to where they're at or fly where they're at and meet them. I have a connection with them. That way, I know when I need to go to that person again, that he knows who I'm about and I know what he's about. Uh, I would say building a bond is probably the best thing, as far as, like, if you want a good private money lender, because you can search all day for private money lenders, get some and go through the steps and then fall short at the end. But if you have someone who, 2 or 3 people that that you have spoken with, talked with, went out to dinner with, took them out to lunch, got a coffee, whatever, and had a conversation with them, talk probably once a month or 2 times a month, and y'all have a conversation at that point, now you know that this is someone that you can rely on because they know what you're doing. But that's my take on that. Did that answer your question, Michael?
It helped a lot. Yeah, I get it. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. Any other questions? Comments, concerns that you'd like to just, talk about? Okay. Okay, so now how many of you all are new? How many, let's see. This is like your first, you just joined Gator. How many is that? Rami, you were a new one, right?
What's your definition of new? What's your definition? Like less than a year or 6 months?
I mean, you just, you've been in a few months, or
Okay.
just starting.
Okay. I am. I consider myself new.
Yeah.
Me
Okay.
too.
Mhm.
So for me, I'm kind of like what Sean went through.
Mhm.
I actually joined the same time I joined. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Got you.
Okay. So I joined in 21. I joined sub 2 in 21 and actually got in, learned a little bit about Gator back in 21, but I wasn't really into Gator. Doing all the things that other Gators did and paid for. So I wasn't on a lot of Zooms. But as far as lending, um, I've been with a team now since October. And I just met, so it is kind of new for me. And I just met a broker around the same time that I joined the team. And the broker, she wants to bring me on board with her. So I was gonna say to Michael that we do lend on ground up construction, but like Sean said, we do like to get to know you first, and you must like your lenders. A lot of times we use what you've had in the past, like experience, to see where to go from there. But yeah, I am pretty new, and the other team that I'm on is transactional lending and EMD, which a lot of Gators do that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So with EMDs, making sure that the paperwork is real tight, because EMDs, so if you have a wholesaler, they put the property under contract and they have established the time frame that they're going to get through with due diligence. Some of them cut it real close. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, I'll have the due diligence done in a week," and they put that into the contract. You need to watch to see what type of time they put in. If they don't renege before that deadline of that date, you will lose your money because
Yeah.
but the thing is that of course you're going to have collateral. But I'm just saying, these are the things you need to make sure you have collateral, even for EMD. It doesn't matter if it's $2,000, $500. They need to put up collateral so that they know you're going to get your money back if they don't decide to take that property, but they let the deadline pass.
Yeah, so the team that I work with has the contracts all written up. So whenever we do lend on EMD, we do specifics about how we do it. There's actually a charge of $249 non-refundable upfront fee. So that's one of them. We make sure that we make sure to pull out, and a contract states that we are gonna, if it's not gonna go through, we don't go past the deadline, and we make sure we get our funding back. So the contracts that we have with the team that I'm on does secure the funds there. Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because it is important.
Are all of y'all in? Is everyone in Gator and Sub 2 in here? Who's not?
No, Ernestine is a friend that she's here in Raleigh, in the Raleigh area with me, and with my golf buddy, and she's came on. She's listening because who knows, she may want us to do some things too. So she jumped in. I'm happy to see her, but I think everybody else is pretty well into some form of real estate.
Yeah. So Sean, I don't know if you heard, I seen you
Yeah, I'm
hop
not.
on the phone. I joined in 21 also in Sub 2, and it was with the Gator. We didn't pay for it up front because we're kind of grandfathered in. Is that what you went through with the
No.
Gator?
So in 20, I don't think Pace came out with the Gator community until around
22.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that
Yeah.
point, I didn't jump into it because, of course, I was doing other things.
Right.
He provides so much into the community. It was like I didn't want to get shiny object syndrome and started doing that. It's not until I was with Pace on the day with Pace at his house, and we went when we was flying the planes. And I came back after flying, and Alexis Morgan was sitting outside, and then no, I was sitting outside, and she walked up on me, and she just told me like, you're like, hey, what you doing? And I'm like, nothing, just sitting out here, just trying to calm down after that flight. But she um she basically told me that she was like, are you still wholesaling and still doing that stuff? And I was like, yeah, like, I buy and hold right now. And she's like, I'll never do it, not anymore. And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, why? And she was like, when I came out there to North Carolina and talked to y'all, she was like, do you not remember what I was saying about lending? And she, that day, she did $1 million deal downstairs in Pace's office just that day on transactional funding. They made $1 million. And I was like, she was like, this, and then Abraham came up to me with Jamil and was like, hey, this is why Jamil's getting into it. Like, he's like, I do transactional funding too. So I was like, oh, I was like, went back to my team. We already had, I think we already had joined in October of 2023. So we joined in October, but we were past that threshold, so we had to pay for it, right? So I was like, but we just didn't get into it as strong. I was still buying properties. I was buying another property, and then I just bought another one too. So I was focused on that. But then I was like, hold on. I see she's getting this and she's getting that, and she's doing all these people and bringing them in. And that's what we are trying to accomplish here, because we have a team of 5 people right now that goes through the process of your whole deal, and is basically like a ripple effect. Once Sevelin talks with you, it just goes through a ripple effect, and then we outsource most of the things as far as like I said with underwriting. We do the underwriting, but we also send it just to make sure it's just that tight, you know. But I started understanding that to become a lender and being your own bank, that's why I got in whole life insurance. I have a policy. I have a trust. I have all the things that y'all probably seen probably on YouTube, what they're saying. I did it. And I have it established right now. For my flips, I use my whole life insurance policy. I didn't ask anybody for money. I'm paying myself back with interest to my own bank. So that's where it excited me to get into more lending, because I was like, I want to become my own bank. Right. So I went out and got all 3 of my boys a life insurance policy, got my wife a life insurance policy. And now I'm like, oh, what are we going to do with this? Now my boys want to start a business because we're also in the zero down. Right. Which everybody, he opened it up to everybody. At first, we had to sign a contract to get into it, but now zero down is like a bit buying businesses. All right. You got Cody Barton and you got Pace Morby. Pace likes to buy real estate, but he understands now that business will bring you more cash flow faster than buying real estate. So now Cody is like, oh, I'm all about buying businesses. So at this point, I got several other lenders who are also relationships that I built from ground up, not fake relationships, actual relationships. I know their kids, they know my kids. They sent me gifts on Christmas. I sent them gifts on Christmas. I sent them cards, all those different things, not fake relationships, but real ones. Right. So when this person, and I consult that person, so that yes, that person pays me to consult them, but at that point, when they want to get into a business, they come to me because they know I deep dive to the extreme. So that's what um I mean, the communities is unreal.
Yeah.
It changed my life because I would tell you, I'm a military veteran. I retired in 2015 from the Marine Corps. Um, I got hurt in Iraq and tried to push through it. And basically from there, I had to get out because I had 3 surgeries on my legs. So I had to learn how to walk again. Then I went to school, finished school, and throughout that time, because of course I didn't share my story. So here I am, I'm sharing my story. But I was a big alcoholic, big drinker. The day I joined Pace Community is the day I stopped drinking. And that was September 2nd of 2023.
Wow,
Never,
nice.
never
Nice
look
story.
back. Never look back because not that because I wasn't a bad drinker. It was just I just like the taste of whiskey. But, I knew putting my money into that was like, I'm just losing money on something that's destroying my body anyway. So I just said, you know what? I'm gonna generate all my efforts into this. So that's what I did. And since I've been doing it, it's like I'm surprised every minute on something new. Every single time. It could be a month later, I'll probably be out of sub two, not looking into sub two and come back and there's things in sub two. And I'm not advocating for sub two. I'm just saying that it changed my life because of the community. Just people like yourselves who's trying to get into the business, who want to meet good people, right?
Yep.
Because my slogan that I get from this is I would rather do a bad deal with good people than do a good deal with bad people.
People. Yeah.
That's my quote. Tell it to everybody. Sevelin heard it several times. I say it all the time. So that's how I feel about when someone wants to give me money. I will treat it as my own. And a lot of people will say that, but no, there's only one way to find out. But I'm going to make sure, even if you give us your money to, fund the deal that we find, I'm going to make sure that you know every single thing about that deal. You're going to tired of seeing Sean Bowden on your screen, right? Because I'm going to tell you the offs, the ins, the outs, whatever. We just closed a deal with a lender before, probably some months back ago, and I told the lender that, to me, right, I don't think the borrower seems to like if they was on point. There was the little things that, yeah, the deal is great, and that's what it should all be about. But I felt some way about the borrower, right? And that was just me just telling them, just to warn them. So if any hiccups come along the way, don't say I didn't tell you, because they were focused on the deal and they wanted to do the deal. But I also told them, hey, something's a little off. Heed my words, right? So, and all of us get into iffy deals sometimes. You're gonna get into iffy deals. You're gonna have iffy partners. You're gonna have an iffy team. You're gonna have all these different things that come to you. Just remember, you'll rather do a bad deal with good people, because with a bad deal, you can fix that deal. You can always fix that deal. Some way you can either sell it, turn it around, something. But if you do a good deal with bad people, all they're doing is trying to take away from you at all times. I probably had, since I've been in sub two, I probably had in and out of sub two as well. Not everybody has been in sub two, but in and out, I probably had over 25 partners at one point. And at that 25 partners, you can see that I have dwindled down to 5. Right. So my thing is, like, I understood who's here for me, who wants to see my success, and who does not. Right. So with the private money lenders, just going back to even what Michael was asking, with private money lenders that you reach out to and you build a relationship, make sure that y'all dream aligns. Because if, just throwing it out there, if you are a person who likes dogs and this person who likes cats but hates dogs, and you like dogs and they hate cats, how are y'all going to be aligned together? It just won't, especially if you're getting into a business or something that involves pets or extended family members, how some of y'all like to say, right? So that's my whole spiel on it. We would definitely love for y'all to come back and listen to what more Sevelin has to say as far as the lending aspect, because she has opened my mind up with a lot of different things that I did not know. And it's a teacher moment, and you just want to be around good people, and she's definitely one of those. So I definitely thank you for allowing me to come in here, Sevelin. But it is dinner time. My old lady is frying up some fried chicken and everything else. And
I'm going to drive to Jacksonville then.
yeah, from scratch too. I'm
Oh
like,
my
goodness.
Yeah.
So,
But this is the goal, is to build a network of wonderful people that we can work with, and exactly what you say. I'm working with someone now that it's had some ups and downs, but I know the person's a good person, and they're dealing with the issues they may have had. They've gotten it resolved. We're getting through it. Transparency is critical in what we do. And as long as we're transparent and we're working together, yes, there are going to be times things don't go the way we want it to go, but we're here for one another. And that's what this is about. I want to, build a collective group of individuals who knows they got folks that will have their backs. And so I'm so thankful you all are on. We are going to, because everybody probably is hungry if you hadn't had a chance to eat. But I really appreciate you being here this evening. Definitely shoot me if you have questions, if we need, to have, get back on and talk on a one-to-one about things that you need. And want to know more about. As I said, I'm really getting ready to do an educational program for those who need more. I've tested it on my former colleague from the university, so it works, and she's been lending for the last 2 or 3 years. So, I'm here to help, and look forward to working with each and every one of you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
for
much.
anyone in the Raleigh area close, we have a meetup on Saturday at 4:30. So it's always good. So if you can make it, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be presenting something
Yes.
there.
Yes, I saw that. I'm excited about that.
Okay. Well, hope it won't be too redundant. All right, ladies and gents.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for being here.
Sevelin.
Thank you,
Good
Sam.
Thank you, Sevelin.
Bye.
Have a great night,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night. Thank you,
Thanks,
Rose.
everyone.
Thank you, and you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Ernestine. Good to see you. We'll talk.
Okay, thank you.